In North Africa, Libya continues to face protracted security and political crisis. The DRC has added to the challenge. The conflict there and the outbreak of Ebola has led to thousands fleeing the country. In the Horn of Africa, internal conflict in Ethiopia is another problem. But with a new leader at the helm, there is hope. Somalia's Al-Shabaab militant group continues to terrorize civilians in that country. Sudan, with protracted internal conflict, is still battling the Darfur crisis. Meanwhile, South Sudan faces one of the worst humanitarian catastrophes in the world. A civil war there has displaced nearly 2 million people. In West Africa, Niger continues to face a food security problem, while Nigeria is terrorized by Boko Haram militants. In Mali, intense jihadist assaults contribute to the challenge in the region.
We need to make sure that we have the political will, I can say that as Africa, but we need to make sure that working with our RICS, working with our member state, to have a functional organ that will have the ability to respond quickly when disasters happens. I can add to that, for example, in the health area, we now have established as an African Union Commission the African Center for Disease Control and Prevention. And this center is a result, or actually the acceleration of establishing the center came after the experience of Ebola in West Africa.
The SADC region is the most stable region, but recent political tensions in Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and Zambia need attention. The land question in the region is also a cause for concern.
We have all the tools on how best to manage land resources. We have the tools. Now, what we do, we are, played into our member countries. They need to apply the strategy, the land strategy that African Union has already acquired. That the tool exists. The problem is to implement those tools so that we can, have really a sound land policy that will be really sustainable for everybody to use. So that is the way forward for us to address it. We invested a lot. We did a lot of studies. So the tool is there. So it's good when we are addressing the reforms on the land issue. You should use the African Union strategy to align with your national, according to your national context, and then better do the issue of land. We know that it is really crucial. We saw what our executive director of UNECA said, it can lead to corruption. But the most important, apart from corruption, which we agree, and this is the year of corruption, it is cultural issues. Maybe in South Africa, you don't have a lot of cultural issues, but in West Africa, it is really a must because of the religious, cultural, and, the inheritance, And I'm sure even in South Africa, women are not allowed to inherit, to have the heritage of land because of custom, brother-in-laws. So those are the type of issue we really want to address it properly. Mostly women, as 60% or 80% of what we eat, of food security, is being done by women. And women are really the victim of lack of access to land.
The ministers have commended countries that continue to host refugees in their regions. The foreign affairs ministers have recommended that a special extraordinary summit of heads of state and government should be called next year to debate the problem of the humanitarian crisis on the continent. Sophie Mkwena, SABC News, Mauritania.